Welcome back to some more Umineko when they cry. So where we last left off, both Battler and Beatrice had, the sort of chess debate of the sort, you know. Like Beatrice, oh man, it's been a while since I've fucking resumed because I usually just record like every week whenever I'm off. But I do remember that Beatrice, anything she says in red redeems as a fact. But I think Battler did some fucking like some some counteract with the thing where you know oh, if only Maria gets a hold of the envelope, why not the handbag? And that's where Bat so he was trying to make her say something in red of the sort, and that's how he won. And I was like, you know what? I'll give credit for what it's due, that type of thing. But aside from that, let's continue reading. Rosa and the rest returned from the chapel to the parlor in the mansion. Well, what's going on over there? So many things had happened since early in the morning. Of course, they were high strung. Battler and George, who had cried, raged, and let their emotions explode after seeing their parents' tragic bodies, returned to the parlor and sat in the sofas, dazed as though everything up until then had been a lie. Only Maria was completely unchanged and looked just like normal. When she wasn't playing pranks, she was basically a kid who played wordlessly by herself. So even if she was dazed, she would probably look just as she did. But as she turned on the TV and flipped through the channels, it looked as though nothing about her had changed from normal. Did Rosa think anything in particular about this attitude, which was clearly different from normal people? She stared at Maria's back as though looking at something that wasn't quite heartwarming. Eventually, Kumasawa came to say good morning. Her cheerful manner was clearly out of place, and she couldn't. Oh, Kumasawa's alive. Eventually, Kumasawa came to say good morning. Her cheerful manner was clearly out of place, and she couldn't help but be bewildered by the strange atmosphere in the room. Then, when she heard the details from Goda, she reacted loudly with shock.
もちろん警察には連絡したんですよね。
Well, you're trapped under a typhoon. Of course, the contacting doesn't work.
こういう時はどうすればいいんでしょう。おお、どうすればいいんでしょう。
落ち着いて聞いてください。どうも昨夜の落雷で何かの機械がやられたようなのです。それで電話が使えなくなっておりまして。
What?
じゃあ、台風が過ぎるまで警察にも連絡できないんですか？
Seems like it. Maybe Kumasawa's exaggerated surprise was a little comical. Kind of is. Even in this kind of situation, Rosa giggled. Because of that, the fog of confusion that had covered her head cleared up a little.
私がしっかりしなきゃ。マリアだけじゃない。ジョージ君もバタロ君も今は私が親代わりなんだからしっかりしなきゃいけない。
I mean, you're like the only sibling alive. It's not that surprising. Although, with you, Rosa, I'm pretty sure you also have your mental issues, so... Rosa had been the youngest sibling with a large difference in age between her and the others, so she had always been treated as a child. Every time she learned something new, it was something obvious to her siblings, and she had built up a complex, becoming convinced of her own incompetence. So she had developed a passive personality, asking her siblings for advice every time something happened. But she no longer had any brothers or sisters. Now, Rosa was the only one of the four Ushiromiya siblings left. Furthermore, if Kinzo continued to shut himself away even in this extraordinary situation, Rosa would have to surpass this crisis as the head's representative.
私はもう子供じゃない。子供じゃない。
Rosa slapped her knees lightly and stood up. She must not wait for orders now. She had to start moving herself. She picked up the receiver of the extension phone on the side table. Then she immediately remembered that the phones were down. Genji and Shannon, whom she had sent to see Kinzo, hadn't returned yet. She had a good guess of what was going on. He was probably yelling something nonsensical again and becoming unmanageable. His precious... What is wrong with me? His precious chapel had been defiled with blood. Precious. That was easy to imagine. She had planned on using the extension phone to call the study, but unfortunately, the phones were down. Rosa decided to go to the study directly with her own 2 feet. Her old self would have been too frightened to go see Kinzo, and in fact, if she did meet him, she would probably be blamed somehow and insulted. But this was no time to be frightened. As his true daughter, she had to make him aware of the current situation.
熊沢さん、私はお父様のところへ行ってきます。特にジョージ君とバタラ君の2人をお願いします。きっとだいぶ神経が参ってると思うの。
Well, good luck with that.
ええ、それはそうでございましょうとも。本当にお気の毒なことです。何か温かい飲み物でも作ってあげることにいたします。
ありがとう。
Rosa went out into the hallway and headed towards Kinzo's study. The atmosphere in his mansion, which she'd spent her younger days in and should have been full of memories, seemed somehow different. She began to climb the stairs in the entrance hall. Just then, in the faint darkness down the stairs behind Rosa's back, something glowed. Uh-oh. It was a single fluttering gold butterfly. It fluttered around and sparkled. That butterfly danced about without a sound. It was only natural. No one can hear the sound of a butterfly's wings beating. And then it came to a rest on Rosa's back as she slowly climbed the stairs. Ghosting. Rosa didn't notice it. If someone not in the know saw it, they'd probably assume it was just a single sheet of gold leaf in the shape of a butterfly that had been stuck there. Without noticing a thing, Rosa continued heading towards Kinzo's study.
さーて、次はどう遊ばせてもらおうか。まだまだ駒はいくらでもある。
Well, yeah, makes me wonder how that'll turn out. In the parlor, which had fallen silent again, the only sound was that of the TV that Maria was watching alone. If there was anything audible besides that, it was the sound of the rain, which had continued on and on since the previous night. Every one of those who had witnessed that unearthly and horrible scene stayed silent, as though praying that the events of that morning had all been a dream. Yeah, well, Maria doesn't give a shit about part of her family members dying. Had all been a dream. Because Kumasawa alone hadn't seen it, her reaction was slightly different. The silence itself seemed more unbearable to her, and she was anxious to encourage everyone somehow. However, she was aware that she must avoid saying anything careless, and she seemed to be pondering on how she could be most helpful. Normally, it would be time for breakfast. Ho- However, possibly because something so outrageous had happened, Goda seemed to have forgotten to prepare a meal. Or maybe everyone was so beaten up that they'd forgotten their hunger. Kumasawa wanted to bring up the subject of what they should do for breakfast, but it didn't seem like the right atmosphere, so she really couldn't. But she really was hungry, so she casually made a proposal.
皆さんもいろいろあってお疲れでしょ。こういう時は温かい紅茶で体を温めるのが一番ですよ。
それはいい提案ですな。私も賛成です。
Some warm tea. That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, what is wrong with what is with people that doesn't like tea?
美味しい紅茶にジャムを塗ったビスケットなどいかがですか。
Wow, that sounds good, to be quite honest.
そうそう、ハロウィンの時期が近いみたいで、かぼちゃ型の美味しそうなクッキーが棚にありました。
あ、熊沢さん、それは。
That's what? Of course, she had said the wrong thing. She had reminded Battler and the rest about that horrible and tragic Halloween party in the chapel. Nanjo hurriedly whispered into Kumasawa's ear.
バトラさん、本当にすみません。悪気はなかったんですよ。え
え。いや、気にしてねえぜ。この煮えくり返るような怒りは、絶対犯人にお返ししてやるぜ。
Wow.
その犯人は、まだこの島にいるのかな。
That could be it because the island. I mean, what is he gonna? What the culprit is gonna escape from the island? No way. That'd be completely obvious.
いるだろうな。何しろ、台風が過ぎるまで船は来ないんだ。
ええ、そうですとも。船はちょっとの風でも欠航しますからね。ましてや台風では絶対に船になんか乗れませんよ。ええ。
気持ち悪いな。
兄貴もそう思うのか。俺もだぜ。犯人が例の謎の来客かどうかは捨ておいてもだ。
そうですな。私たちはついついベアトリーチェを名乗る謎の来客を怪しがってしまいますが、まだ犯人と決まったわけではありません。彼女がまだ死体の出ていない犠牲者である可能性も残っている。
それを考えると、どうしても理解できないことがあるんだ。
What the fuck did he say? She a victim whose corpse still hasn't been as if.
それはどういうことでしょうか。
Oh, I forgot Goda is still here.
簡単さ。さっき熊沢のばあちゃんの言った通りだよ。この島は今台風の真っ只中で脱出不能だ。
Shut off his relic.
それは犯人だって同じさ。なら犯人にとって犯行発覚は可能なら最も避けたいことのはずだ。
そうですね。 礼拝堂の入り口にあんな不気味な魔法陣を書いて、ここに死体がありますなどとアピールする必要はありませんね。
そうさ、そういうことなんだ。さらに言えば、あの6人にあんなむごたらしいことをするだけの手間をかけられたなら、6人の死体を発見不能な場所に隠すことだって可能だったはず。
同感だね。あの残酷なハロウィンパーティーは多分死んだ人たちに向けられたものじゃない。
The cult of Halloween.
やがて発見する僕たちへ向けたものなんだよ。
Yeah, it's a surprise party.
魔法陣はそのためのアピールだと言い切れるだろうね。
犯人はこの島からしばらく逃げられないことを知っている。にもかかわらず、台風の真っ最中に死体を見つけさせたいような真似をした。こりゃどういうことなんだ。俺が犯人だったなら、死体を見つけさせるような真似は絶対にしないんだが。
ベアトリーチェ様はお部屋におられませんでした。
Not surprising.
特に部屋が荒らされていた様子もありませんし。ああ、いえ、お嬢様がだいぶ荒らしてしまいましたが。
そういや、ジェシカは？
Yeah, I wonder what happened to her. She went missing for quite a while.
カノンさんが様子を見てくれています。多分お嬢様のお部屋におられるでしょう。
Oh boy.
よくないね。犯人は間違いなくまだこの島にいる。今の状況下で少人数で孤立することはそれほどいいことだとは思わない。
それはどういう意味ですか？まさか犯人は私たち全員を殺すつもりだとおっしゃるんですか？
Look, if the culprit says they can kill however as much as they want, I wouldn't be surprised if the culprit plans to kill all of you at once. And besides, it's not even a good idea to isolate all by yourself in the first place.
落ち着きましょう。まだそうと決まったわけではありません。
ところが悔しいことに、その可能性も否定できねえんだよな。この手紙が礼拝堂にあった。これによるならば、犯人は魔女様で、じい様の碑文の謎を解いて黄金を見つけなきゃ、一族老頭皆殺しにする、みてえなことを言っている。
それは本当ですか？
That is true.
私にも読ませていただいてよろしいですか？
Yeah, I really want to know. As they read the witch's letter, Goda, Kumasawa, and Nanjo's faces grew even paler than they had been. Kumasawa could no longer hide her shame.
死にたくなかったら、じい様の隠し黄金を見つけてみろか。
Simple as that.
ふざけやがって。てめえじゃ解けない謎だから、俺たちに解かせようって腹に決まってるぜ。
しかし実際のところはどうなんでしょう。奥様は常々黄金伝説は親方様が作られた幻想に過ぎないと言い切られておりました。本当に実在するものなのかは怪しいところですよ。
そうですな。あったらいいなとは思いつつ半信半疑だったはずです。親族の皆さんが黄金伝説を信じ始めたのは金蔵さんが健康を崩して遺産問題が浮上してからです。
Only after his health worsened. You mean to tell me maybe that's a way, yeah, what a way to actually sympathize with it, huh?
それまでは信じている人はほとんどいなかったと思います。
そうか、それでかな。覚えてるかい？礼拝堂のテーブルの上、黄金のインゴットが3つあったね。あれだけでも相当の価値があるよ。あれはまさに黄金伝説は実在することを証明してるんじゃないかな。
Shit, man, give me a gold bar.
お待ちください。今、黄金が3つとおっしゃいましたか？
ああ、確かに3つが積み上げてあったぜ。それが何だってんだ？
So what?
私、旦那様がお話になっているのを聞いたことがあるんです。
Another day, another background interruption of the story. Makes me really wonder how this is going to turn out. With this whole 3 gold bars. Sorry. Alright, let's continue.
聞いただけでございますよ。
That's so.
別にこっそりお話に聞き耳を立てていたわけではございませんとも。
今は気にしないぜ。それで何だってんだ？あの金塊が3つじゃ何かまずいってのか？
旦那様がおっしゃるには、黄金伝説を裏付ける黄金は一つしか見つかっていないのだそうです。
そうでしたな。
There was one, then why would there be three then?
確か金蔵さんがマルソーの会長さんに黄金の山を見せて、その1本を持ち帰らせたというような話だったはずです。
その一つをですね、旦那様はお持ちになられていたのです。そしてこうもおっしゃっておりました。親方様の黄金伝説を裏付ける黄金はこれ一つしかないとも。
旦那様ってクラウスおじさんの話だよな。ってことはなんだ？じゃなくて3つ？おいおい、どこから出てきたんだよ。多すぎるぜ。
Yeah. That defies all logic there.
こうは考えられませんか？他の親族の方もそれぞれ見つけておられて、それを一つずつ持ち寄られたとか。
いや、私はそうは思えません。親族の皆さんがお屋敷に来られた時、私は皆さんのお荷物を預からせてもらっています。 その時、不審な重さは感じませんでした。
It would be kind of nosy to go through everyone's luggage.
あれは10キロくらいはあったと思う。そんな重さが荷物に入っていたら僕だって気づくよ。でもそんな雰囲気はなかった。
うちも同じだぜ。せいぜい着替えと常備薬、桐江さんの化粧道具。
What interesting little grammar right there, Battler. Our first aid kit.
そんなもんだったと思う。ローザおばさんの荷物も軽そうに見えたぜ。
となると、その3つ積まれた金塊は彼らあるいは僕らに示されたものということになるね。黄金伝説は間違いなく存在する。幻想なんかじゃない。それを暴いてみろと。
それの隠し場所を示したあの碑文を私たちに解かせて横取りしようという魂胆でしょうか。
確かにそれが一番筋が通る。しかし腑に落ちない点もいくつかあるぜ。なぜ碑文を一番解けそうな人物である親たちが真っ先に殺されてる。これはいきなり矛盾があるように思う。
How so? Yeah, your parents should have done all the work, but you know, unfortunately, that didn't. There goes that plan.
そしてここがもっと腑に落ちない。黄金伝説は実在するって言ってどうして黄金が積めるんだ。まるで犯人はもう自分だけは黄金を見つけていて、お前らも見つけてみろって言ってるみたいに見えるじゃないか。
But the gold is there though. Unless they're... What?
犯人もクラウスおじさんのようにその3本を手に入れ黄金伝説を確信し、残りを僕らに探させようとしていると考えるのが一番しっくりくるね。
Well, that's just weird.
チェス盤に駒がちっとも並ばねえ。犯人が何を企んでいて何をしたいのか何をさせたいのかがさっぱりだ。無駄なのか。何を考えても今の時点では。
We can only cope. No words.
書いてあるよ。何をさせたいかは。みんなは文字読めないのかな。
Maria suddenly laughed in a creepy voice. I thought she'd been concentrating on the TV, but apparently she'd been listening in too. I mean, it's not like... I mean, she has ears, you know. Listening to, without turning away from the TV. She very simply told us that what we were forgetting.
ベアトリーチェは黄金が欲しいなんて一言も言ってないよ。ベアトリーチェは 気分の謎をみんなが解けるか解けないか、それしか聞いてないんだよ。どうせ無理だろうって思ってるに違いないけどね。
マリアにはそれが解けるってのか？
知らない。だってマリアは黄金鏡へ連れてってもらうんだもん。ベアトリーチェの邪魔なんかしないよ。あ、痛い。
どうやらこれ以上を知るにはマリアに話を聞くほかないようだな。マリア、聞かせてもらうぜ。ベアトリーチェってのは何者だ？何を企んでるんだ？
Who is this Beatrice? Come on, man.
ベアトリーチェはね、魔女なの。不思議な力で何でもできる。魔法の力で何でもできる。黄金も生み出せるし、パンも生み出せる。もちろんお菓子だって生み出せるよ。見たでしょ？
Wait, what? At that time, everyone jumped at the sound of a door being slammed shut. When we turned around, we saw that Rosa had suddenly returned, bringing Genji and Shannon. Then she rapidly approached Maria, her heels squeaking, and hit her on the cheek.
そんな話はやめなさい。
Oh, wow.
バトラ君たちが気を悪くするでしょ。
Without waiting for a response, she hit Maria's cheek once more. Everyone could only stand there, stunned.
うーではわからないわよ。はいは。
Oh wow. She mercilessly hit Maria's cheek again. Maybe Maria didn't feel like resisting after being hit twice. She weakly said yes.
ローザさん、そこまでひどくすることはない。
I mean, I'm pretty sure I said in the past parts that Rosa got more toxic than the last episode.
娘に対する教育です。口は挟まないでいただきます。
The atmosphere around Rosa, with Genji and Shannon standing at attention behind her, was somehow cold and yet dignified, completely different from how she had seemed before she left. She was holding something that looked like a gun. I couldn't imagine that she'd be holding a toy in this situation.
ローザおばさん、それは。
お父様のものです。
Wow. Last episode, Natsuhi had the gun. This time, Rosa has it.
このような事態ですので、特別に借りてきました。みんなだって分かってるはず。
No, I don't understand. What?
犯人はまだ近くにいるのですから。
Oh, wait.
何があるか分からない。
同感です。犯人が何を企んでいるかを探るよりも、僕たちは身の安全を先に考えた方がいいかもしれない。
No words.
お父様はご無事でしたが、突然の出来事に多少取り乱していました。幸いにも部屋からは出ないと言っていますので安全でしょう。あと、私たちは極力同じ場所に集まるべきです。
同感だぜ。 相手がどこに潜んでいるのかもわからねえし、何しろ一人という保証もねえんだ。
Even though I'd said it myself, I shivered. That's right. Could a single person kill 6 people and set up such a horrible scene all alone? Nah. There's no way you could do it all by yourself. There's no way you'd do all the dirty work. Isn't it natural to assume that this crime was carried out by multiple culprits? That could be one way to put it. I was gonna say, I did say it earlier that there were some I wouldn't say minions, but ones that carry out the work for.
ローザさんに同感です。私たちは一ところに集まるのがいいでしょうな。
ええ、私もそれが良いと思いますよ。ええ。
お嬢様たちももうそろそろこちらへお呼びした方がいいかもしれません。
そうだね。もう降りてきてもらおう。
George Aniki tried to grab the extension phone, but Goda-san shook his head. That's right, the phones are down right now, aren't they?
俺と何人かで行ってこよう。
Oh, this'll be fun.
ジョージの兄貴にゴーダさんも来てくれれば十分だろ。
いいえ、みんなで一緒に行きましょう。
What? Oh, we're about to see see what's going on.
狼と羊のパズルなのよ。
Wolves and sheep puzzle. That's something I don't miss in here. No?
私たちがここに揃い安定しているなら、この状態が一番安全。
If we're in a balance while gathered together like this, then maintaining this situation will be the safest. No? Better than having to separate ourselves.
狼と羊のパズル？
Yeah, I wonder what that means.
おお、マリア持ってるよ。見せてあげる。
マリア、テレビを消しなさい。源氏さん、ジェシカちゃんの部屋を教えてください。みんなで行きましょう。
はい。ご案内いたします。
さあみんな、一緒に行動するわよ。私の指示に従って。
We stood up. Maria alone looked like she had some regrets about the TV, but she decided to go along with everyone for now and got up.
シャノン、よかった。戻りが遅いから少し心配してたよ。
ご心配をおかけしました。親方様より筆行のご命令があったもので。
筆行？
シャノン。
すみません。失礼しました。
So now I'm curious. Yeah, I'm kind of curious, but transcribe as in, Kinzo's, last words, or I can assume. We headed for Jessica's room, with the armed Aunt Rosa and Genji-san in the lead. Jessica and Kanan-kun were a boy and a girl of about the same age. It'd sure be a shame if we barged in on them at a bad time, or at least that's what we'd be joking about normally. About the same. I'm pretty sure Jessica is like 2 or 3 years older than Kanan. That's what we'd be joking about normally. However, Aunt Rosa was on edge, constantly exuding a sense of tension. So it definitely wasn't the sort of atmosphere for careless remarks like that.
ほら遅れないで。みんな一緒に行動するの。犯人はいつどこから飛びかかってくるかわからないのよ。
No, maybe Aunt Rosa's attitude was more appropriate. Since grandfather hadn't come down, Aunt Rosa was our leader. This wasn't a situation where she could smile like she always did. And Aunt Rosa was a mother too. She probably also thought that if she didn't get a hold of herself, some harm might befall her beloved daughter. The culprit had killed 6 of our parents at once. The method they had used was unknown, but there was a good chance this opponent could take down a large number of people in a flash. Would that be with weapons or with numbers? Or with the magic of a witch? In any case, I couldn't think of any reason why it'd be okay to let our guards down. The rest of us had better take much greater care, just like Aunt Rosa.
みんな止まって。
Why? Aunt Rosa spoke in a sharp voice. Wondering what this was all about, we peered forwards, and immediately realized the reason. Ooh.
何ですかこれは。
We decided to put this little magic... I bet this was not really a magic circle, it must be...
皆様、お下がりを。
Oh boy. Goda-san and Genji-san approached the door. Beyond this door was probably Jessica's room.
これは礼拝堂の扉に落書きしていたのと同じ塗料のようですね。
そのようです。書かれてまだ時間がそう経っていないように見えます。
なんだありゃ。また魔法陣かよ。
月の1の魔法陣だね。赤の扉を開く力があるよ。
Drawn on the door to Jessica's room was the same kind of creepy scribble that had been drawn on the door to the chapel. Hey, it's just like the last time where Eva and Hideyoshi got killed off. In the last episode for the second Twilight. Door to the chapel. That strange pattern must have had some occult meaning, but it didn't matter what that meaning was. We were worried about whether those two were okay.
そんなことはどうでもいいよ。
Well, I'm pretty sure it's just worse than okay, from what I know.
ジェシカちゃんとカノン君は無事なの？
Well, depends on what the definition of safe means.
嫌な予感がしますな。早くジェシカさんたちを連れて下に降りましょう。
お嬢様、お嬢様、おられますか？お返事をお願いします。
Goda-san knocked violently and yelled, but there was no answer. He gripped the doorknob with a clatter, but the lock just resisted him.
ローザ様、鍵がかかっているようです。
仕方ないわ。開けてください。
Genji nodded, and Goda quickly unlocked the door with the master key. In the back of my mind, horrible images floated up and disappeared one after another. A magic circle had been drawn on the door to the chapel. Behind that lay 6 corpses. So if there's a magic circle drawn on the door to Jessica's room, then beyond it must be...
ジェシカ様！
どうしたの？いたの？
ジェシカ！どうした？
Uh-oh. Oh god. Well, I hate to break it to a cliffhanger, but I must end it from here. Next part, let's see what everyone's reaction to with Jessica right there. So, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good one.